So here we go, y'all. I'm going to try to make something that starts out like that, end up looking something more like that, or something like that, like a painted crankbait like you buy in a store, like Bass Pro Shop or Tackle Warehouse or Cabela's. Yeah, we're going to try that. Well, I've been doing it for years, but I'm going to try it with you guys. Stay tuned. Building some hard baits. It ain't that hard. I'm Dale Verts, old school, all the way. Be right back. This is a hard thing to do in just one video. I did 3 videos on the topic on my Hickbilly Outdoors channel a couple years ago, and because it wasn't a bass fishing deal, it didn't go over all that well. I mean, I went into detail. I'm not going to go into quite as much detail this time, but just kind of show y'all how I do it. A quick explanation. I've had people ask me for this for a year and a half, so I talked about making baits. Yeah, I'm fixing to sell something. I got people waiting. Actually, some of these baits I'm going to build today, I got people kind of waiting on. Got to get this thing rolling. It's freaking fishing season. I got to be building baits. Oh, well. Right off the bat, people are going to say, why don't you do this? Folks, I started painting crankbaits when I was a little kid, when I had baits that were ugly, didn't like them. I was probably 14 years old, and I used a rattle can, plain old spray can, and I liked the way they came out. I still have some baits from the mid-'80s that I painted that really look good. Everybody says, why don't you use an airbrush? I've had people offer to give me airbrushes. Well, first off, everybody else uses an airbrush. So I don't do what other people do. That's my mode of operation my whole life. I do things different than other folks. Right or wrong or indifferent. My baits come out looking really good. Plenty good enough to catch fish. Matter of fact, probably 3/4 or better than bass I caught on crankbaits and plugs last year come on baits that I make with rattle can. I rattle can up to 5 or 6 layers, 5 or 6 colors. I clear them when I'm done in acrylic clear. It works really well. It works for me, and I appreciate folks tell me how much easier an airbrush is. I see it, but I've done this for years. Plus, I also have, this is not all the spray paint that I have. I have more spray paint. A lot of times, these cans go bad. Some of those cans may be bad because I haven't done this in over a year. Well, there's some new ones in those bags. But anyway, like back in the day, you could buy a can of spray paint at Walmart for 99 cents. It got the job done. That ain't the way it works anymore. However, spray paint lasts a long time. You can't hardly empty one on baits. Rarely do I run one completely empty before it goes bad. And if you want really fine spray paint, you go to Hobby Lobby or your hobby shop and get Testors enamel. Stick with it. Well, whatever. There's different kinds of paints. They respond differently to each other. There's some chemical things can happen. This ain't a chemistry lesson. But you get the Testors spray enamel in those little cans. It sprays finer. It sprays prettier, easier to use, and about twice the money of these. Whatever. So I am going to go ahead and get prepared to go outside because you don't spray inside, which is another advantage probably to airbrush. I'm in my restaurant. Well, technically not really my restaurant. I'm in a man cave room. Look at that plaque, huh? What's that? Oh, look at that plaque. I got trophies on the wall. How sad is that? This was my man cave. 9 years ago. We moved our restaurant next door into where the bar had been because bars were ignorant for me. I had a stage here, all my sound system. We played music, had jam sessions. And then a few years after that, we quit doing that. I started building my baits over here. I had half of this room or better, big room. And now I'm down to 12 by 12 foot, which, whatever. It works. I just started moving stuff back here. I had a little room at the house. It wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. I thought, well, anyway, things happen. So we're going to start doing some baits here in this room. I moved some things around. I got to get some more light in here the next few days. I'd hope I had this place sold. It hadn't happened yet, so I'm going to go ahead and build baits here until I got to move everything out. But the scent, the smell of this paint can be obnoxious. I still have some, but I'll go outside and paint. I'll come back in. It won't be so bad. The restaurant's next door, and the food is a long ways away, so don't get on to me for that. Let's paint a bait, or start on a bait. Okay, so it's pretty windy. Last time I did this, I got spray paint all over my camera. I'll try to keep that to a minimum. We're going to do a bluegill pattern, y'all. Bram, sunfish. Okay? So we're going to start off with silver. Silver or gray, I don't care how I get it on the bait, except the sides and the belly is going to get the silver or gray. This is one of those little testers cans I talked about, model car paint cans. We're all we're gonna, and everything's light coat, y'all. Right there, and that's it. That's all it took. See how quick I did that? That's it. Empty our spray can, take it inside and put on some styrofoam and go to the next step. Now the fun part is I could take that bait right there, put some clear coat on it, maybe a black back, or red gills and eyes, and it's a pretty bait to catch fish just like that. One thing about this process you may want to buy baits from, maybe see how much effort it takes. It's not that it's a lot of work, it's a time consuming thing. In fact, that you only put so much paint on at a time. Now this spray paint dries really quick. I don't know how quick airbrush paint dries, but you can still overdo it real fast. I mean, I'm talking it's 3:45 in the afternoon. I won't get this bait done today. I'll give it 10-15 minutes in between coats. So I'll get 3 or 4 coats on it maybe, and I have to call it good. But generally I can paint a bait. From the time I start painting a bait to the time I finish the bait is 2 to 3 days, generally. By the way, I also put masking tape on the lip, on the bill. If you want it colored, you don't have to do that. You can put your clip on the hook eye to hold it. I've got the bait. The way I want it to look is with the clear bill. No big deal. Things like that are simple. Talking too much. Another note here, I don't do anything to prep these baits before I start painting. I don't wipe them with acetone or anything. You just want to be sure and handle them minimal with your fingers, and especially if your hands are dirty, the oil on your fingers will make the paint absolutely fly away. Just a simple note while I'm waiting for this bait to dry and watching a little YouTube. Okay, the trick here is going to be to try to layer these colors. I'm using a Rust-Oleum Macaw blue. I don't know. Blue and purple brim, right? Sunfish color. With a throat of either chartreuse or orange or red. Kind of what we're going for. The trick is I'm trying to get a little bit on the sides, but not so much to cover up the gray. If that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to get the wind right. Camera right. And that's probably enough right there. And I don't worry about being super even side to side, y'all. I can't worry about that. It'll drive me crazy. That's an airbrush, guys. That's not me. Close enough. For work. Oh, by the way, humidity kills this. If it's real humid, even wintertime, you got to be sure and get them back in a controlled situation, air conditioner, whatever. Humidity makes a sticky mess and it won't dry. How's that for a helpful pointer? Okay, let's see if we can get a little purple on this thing, because being a brim, it's got to have some purple on it, right? A little bit. Just a little bit. A little purple tint. What do you think of that? And that's going to do it for this evening. It's getting late. Got a storm coming in. A little moisture in the air. I think we're getting close to what I want it to look like. Everyone looks a little bit different. We were looking for a brim. Traffic everywhere. We'll start again tomorrow in the rain. Okay, it's next day. I only say that because things have changed. It's raining out. It's a little bit cooler. And cooler can hurt the painting process, at least with spray cans. It's just a minor thing you work with. Either preheat your paint, keep it in a warm spot. I put it on a heating plate before, but I think we'll be okay. We're 60 degrees. We're going to do the hardest thing to this bait now when it comes to paint. We're going to do what makes it become a brim pattern to me. And we're going to do the throat with a shot of red. You can use orange, chartreuse, something that makes it stand out. Probably not that important, but to me that's what makes it a sunfish pattern. Now it's hard to do with a spray can. It's just tough with a rattle can. And I know airbrush should do it better, but I like doing things the hard way, and also it gives me an out and an excuse if I screw up. One thing you can do is take a piece of cardboard, which I'm not going to do. Take a piece of cardboard, do a test shot on it to get your distance. I'm just going to go ahead and spray away and hope for the best. And the fish won't care. So here we go. I'll shoot a little bit low to make sure to start with. And that's all. That's all I'm going to do right there. It's not perfect, but you know what? We have us a brim. I don't care how you do it. How's that for simple? The other thing is a little bit better light. Now, I would have preferred possibly not to go up the belly quite so far, you know, but it's what it is, and the fish won't care. Okay? We'll let this thing dry a while, and how I'm going to finish it out is I'm going to put red gills on with a Sharpie, which again won't show up much, won't matter, except it's a nice finishing touch. It's easy to do when you're running along. I will put the big black dot on the back of the gill. Now in this dark, it's not going to show up as well, but might as well do it while I'm at it. I'll put eyes on it, okay? That'll be a completed bait, except I'll dip it in clear urethane, polyurethane, and I will do that under warm conditions, warmer than what we have today. I want that stuff thin. I'll dip it real slow. I'll hang it up to dry, and I'll pull the extra drips off for a few minutes, because you get an extra. I'll hang it like this, okay? And all I do is that one coat. There's one I shot some paint on yesterday before I left. Just a weird, just different looking chartreuse belly. It's got a chromium side with a lavender purple top. Oh, rock and roll. Tell me that won't catch fish. So, the one coat of urethane, y'all, it is not near as hard of a finish as some of the paints you can buy. It probably is even as hard as clear rattle can paint, but I just find it does a really good job of sealing a bait up. If you have a bait that is leaking water yourself, you get it good and dry inside, you can do it. It works really well. And I like my baits to look a little bit battle scarred. I believe in the whole theory of a bait not being beautiful. I've got baits right now on a dash of one of my trucks. Some chartreuse baits are just too daggum bright. They've been out there since September. I've even flipped them a couple times. They're getting pretty close. I don't want that ultra bright, pretty thing all the time. Matter of fact, probably more often than not, I want a beat up, battle scarred bait. I got some good ones. Maybe I can find a picture to put in right here of some of my old baits. That's all I'm going to tell you about right now. I'm going to finish it because this video is going to run too long. I will do another video showing more painted stuff and more finished baits, including this brim, and see what y'all think. Let me know if any questions, comments. I'm not going to use an airbrush. I'm not trying to be perfect. My statement for my lure making, if I ever really get a company going, is an imperfect attempt at perfection. How's that for screwy? God bless you guys. We'll talk to you later.